welcome to the We Summit. Who's so excited to be here? Yeah, yep. My name is Susan Gatti. I am so happy to have just about 10-15 minutes this morning to set this off for the most incredible day. If we haven't had a chance to meet yet, I own an organizational consulting company, and we do a lot of work with organizations and individuals to help them hit their mission and their personal goals. So I couldn't think of a better place to be than with all of you here today. Because if you're here for your companies, you have a mission on your heart. If you're here as yourself, you have a mission for yourself, you have a purpose for yourself. And my goal to start us off this morning is to help you get super laser focused on what it is that brought you here today. So, are you with me? All right. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. So, one of the things we do, my company is called Disruptive Spark. And the reason that we call that name is that we're constantly trying to disrupt our own selves. So, do you know that about 90 to 95% of the actions and the behaviors that you take every single day are habituated and automatic? Which means we're not typically making conscious decisions about what we want, what we're doing, what we're asking for, how we're showing up. And so we're constantly challenging ourselves to disrupt that. So the first way that we always do that and helping people to make those disruptions is to get grounded and centered. So lots of people think about that in lots of different ways, and there's many ways you can do it. The thing I have found most beneficial and easiest to do is simply to have gratitude and gratefulness in my heart. So I'm going to invite you to start by thanking our host, Richner Communications, the entire team between Amy and everyone. You have absolutely no idea what it goes into making a day like this happen. And I don't know if you know this, but we have over 30 women, men in our communities. They're running organizations, they're heads of charities, and they are here to give you their expertise and their knowledge. So can we start by giving them a huge round of applause? Thank you. So that's the first way that you always want to start with a little gratitude is giving it out. But there's one thing women never ever do. Can you guess what that is? Oh my goodness. Exactly. Whoever said that, you are 100% right. Women are the least likely group to stop for a minute and actually thank themselves. And so we're going to take that opportunity to do that right now. So I'm going to invite you. This is how I thank myself. I usually put my hand right on my chart and I'm sorry, on my heart, and I tap there a little bit. And the reason I do that is because I'm actually calming my nervous system. So I'm going to invite you to do this along with me, but you don't have to. If something else feels more called for you or you just want to sit in silence, please do. But if these statements resonate with you, I want you to give yourself a little tap and I want you to say the words thank you. So when it comes to thanking yourself, if you've ever gotten up early in the morning or stayed late at night to do something for yourself, your team, or someone else, if you've done that, can you thank yourself? I think we can all do that, right? Thank yourself if you've ever had a setback and made the intentional decision to move forward instead. If you've ever been able to do that for yourself, go ahead, say thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you if you've ever had a moment when you were in doubt, when you were in fear, when you were in uncertainty. You weren't sure if you should do this or that or make this decision or head in that direction. And whatever you used to get through that, you did it anyway. Say thank you. Thank you, right? We need to thank ourselves for those things. Most of all, I want you to thank yourself for getting here today. I don't know about you, but most women I know have run a marathon by the time they walk out the door and head to where they're going. So if you were up all night, up in the morning, if you've already made phone calls, if you've organized 17 things, packed lunch, took care of a parent, or did anything else before you walked through the door today and still got yourself here today, say thank you. Thank you, right? So I think it's fair to say we all know how valuable it is to actually spend some time in gratitude for ourselves. So, the activity that I asked Amy if I could share with everyone today is something that we do on a regular basis at Disruptive Spark. And the reason for it is because laser focus and being laser focused about your intention is one of the things that's actually been proven to be most successful in achieving organizational goals as well as individual goals. And I have a couple of samples. You can take a look at some of the people on here. But let me just tell you how each of these groups used focus and really laser focus to achieve their goals. And then we're going to do an activity that's going to allow you to really focus in and get clear about what you're here for today. So, anyone familiar with our ladies gymnastics team from the last Olympics? Pretty freaking impressive, right? Let me tell you about their power of focus. They actually leaned into the power of shared focus. So they didn't have just an individual focus, they were working together as a team. Does anyone know what their insider focused mantra was? So they were the Golden Girls, which is what they told everyone, but Simone Biles let it slip. Did anyone hear it? I've totally adopted it. It was called Let's F Around and Find Out. They actually challenged themselves to realize how good can we actually get. I thought that was pretty impressive. Sarah Blakely is one of my favorite founders. And I think she's the best example I've ever seen of the power of a laser focused ability to move through challenges and obstacles. She completely changed an industry and everything that went along with it. And you may or may not know this, but she actually credited it to a set of cassette tapes. And I know some of my friends out here, when I say this name, you're going to know who it is. But Dr. Dwayne Dyer, who some people call motivational speaker. I wouldn't call him that, but he had these 10 videotapes on how to develop a no limit mindset. And she said that's what she listened to when she was in high school, and that she credits that with developing that no limit mindset. So, another way to think about it. And then, of course, Oprah. Any Oprah fans? You know, you got to love Oprah. You have to love Oprah. I think this is the most really interesting one to think about because she talks about her intense focus for being an instrument of good, which is so the opposite of how we really think about how to be successful and kind of that work harder, outperform everyone. When you think about a lot of media, it's very much about the sensationalism, but her intense laser focus was really about the focus of being a force for good. And I think it's safe to say that that kind of level of focus really worked for her too. So, with that in mind, let's talk about how do we get to that level of focus. And this is the activity that we're going to do quick. So, on your table, you should have had a couple of flyers. Thank you to Amy and the team. They created this one for me. What my team has done is put together this is an activity we run in a lot of different ways, depending on how or who we're working with. But it's really about helping to get really good at getting laser focused and making clear decisions from a place of certainty. So if you want to grab this worksheet, we're going to go through a couple of steps and make sure you've got your intense focus for the day. And then we'll be off and running with our series of speakers. I'll give you just a second to get your hands on those. Mhm. Okay. How am I doing on time? Okay, great. All right, looks like most people have found their sheet. If you don't happen to have one, you can play along. It's on the screen, just so that you can see them. But what we're going to do is this is a list of values that we had created specifically for this event. So each one of these values is directly related to something that's being shared with you today. And what we're going to do is use our minds for the first round to go ahead and filter through rapidly and pare down this list. So we call this a rapid sort. You're going to get 3 minutes. We're going to turn a little music on for you so you have it. And your goal here with this first section is just to simply read each one in the moment on its own and simply filter yes, no. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. This is going to challenge your brain to move quickly and not get stuck in over decision. Take 3 passes, and at the end of the time, you should have 8 to 10, max of 10. If you're less, less is fine. Filtered responses. We're going to turn on some music. This is my best thinking music, by the way. And you have about 3 minutes. Challenge yourself to move quickly. Make clear, filtered decisions. Yes, no, one at a time. Try not to look in the past. Try not to head to the future. Stay right on the word in front of you. All right, you have about 15 seconds. Okay, great. So you've completed the first part. This is about getting first your mind on board with you. So we call it values alignment. And the alignment is actually a connection between what your brain thinks and what your inner knowing, as we like to call it. Sometimes people refer to it as your unconscious self. Also has an opinion most of the time about what you're doing. So when your brain matches your unconscious self, you're making a very aligned decision, and things happen very rapidly and very easily in that mode. So now we know what your brain thinks, right? You should be somewhere between 8 to 10, but we want to know what our body thinks about this, right? What is our unconscious self actually saying about this as well? So one of the techniques that we teach people all the time is, how do I make these decisions, right? When things are unknown, we teach them how to listen to their own bodies. So there's some research and some science around this. It's very interesting. But when your body agrees, when your unconscious self agrees with your decision, it remains upright and strong. Some people describe that as they feel a sensation of relaxed, maybe their shoulders relax. They will often describe it with sensation. I can feel butterflies in my stomach. I feel a tingliness. I feel a warmness. Some people simply say there was a lack of response. When you look at something and it's not aligned with you unconsciously or in your body will actually cave in. So your shoulders will come forward. Some people actually experience some sort of physical response, maybe your headache, tightness in your jaw. I hear a lot of people say it was like punching me in my gut, right? These are signals from your body telling you that this isn't right. So when you get really good at this, you get really smart and very fast about your decision, and you develop a lot of confidence in yourself. That's really about unlocking your power, is being able to trust yourself. Our mind sometimes is very clouded, but the body always knows. The unconscious self always knows. So for this round, we're going to focus just on what you've circled. And with those things that you've circled, you're going to ask it this question. When I look at that question, I'm going to ask, what do I really want? What do I here right now really want? Is it that value? And just pause for a second and see what your body says. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be, you know, It's not going to be necessarily like a thunderbolt of lightning, but do you recognize something in there and move through so that you're down to one choice, maybe two or three? So that's what we call body filtering. I'm going to give you another 2 minutes, go through each of them. And the most important thing is to ask, what do I really want? And is this word it? So we'll give you a little bit of your thinking music and try and get down to your last one, or if not one or two, maybe three. What is it that I really, really want today? Why am I really here? What's waiting for me? Take about 15 more seconds. Let's filter down all the way to that last one. And for those of you torn between two, here's a good question to ask yourself to make the final decision. If it were to come true for me today, what's the biggest value it would have for me tomorrow? So if you're down between two between three, use that question as your final decisioning. All right, so hopefully everybody's got a clear vision for today. You can put that right in your My Focus box. And as we wrap up our session and get ready to lean into all of this, I want to leave you with a couple of words and something that I don't know if everyone is aware of, but on these worksheets at the bottom is a QR code to WIN, which is our Women's Executive Network. The purpose of an event like this today is to introduce you to people, concepts, ideas, for you to make new connections. The goal should be that you're learning things you didn't know about, that there's, all this excitement happening. That's the purpose of an event, right? But behavior change comes after in what you're doing. So I want you to use this document all day, keep it with you. Anything that gets written down on this in those open boxes, that's your becoming work. That's what we like to call that. Those are the things that you're going to do. Those are the meetings you're going to set up. And I want to just make sure everybody knows that through the Women's Network, you can actually join into mentorships, get coaching and other things that will directly help you achieve these goals that you're here getting started with today. So thank you so much for all of that. Thank you for being with us today. And as I'm leaving and things are shifting, the last little secret weapon about unlocking power is declaring a statement to be true. So, and saying it out loud to someone else always makes it real. So as I'm leaving, as we're shifting today in your tables, if you haven't said hello, say a quick hello and make sure you tell at least 2 or 3 people at your table what your vision, what your focus word is, and most importantly, one reason why. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you throughout the day.